the time, well, obviously the time is now, but in a more accurate sense, the time is 8:05. And in a more, actually appreciative sense, it's time for quads. And I want to change it up today a touch. I've been slamming leg press, which I do think is good, but I haven't done Smith squats for a little while, right? There's no, don't be fooled. I'm not going to prioritize seated pressing over, shoulder loaded, at least not too much. But to a degree, right, it might make sense. As much as I do think that there's nothing like a, shoulder loaded squat, barbell or Smith, I'd say the overall experience is pretty comparable. Nothing's like barbell, but Smith is the closest thing, So, one might argue that the squat, where, the weight is actually loaded completely on your shoulders, is a bit of a inefficient movement, right? It's working your lower back. You've got to completely brace your entire upper body. Your breathing's a little bit hindered, just because even when you're at the top, you still have to be relatively braced, just so you don't tweak something. So you're not taking kind of more relaxed breaths like you might if you just, rest at the top of a leg press for a second, right? But I would argue that's only something you should really be freaking out about if you're dieting down, right? If you're actually in a steep deficit, then the efficiency of the movements that you're doing, that's actually something to be thought about, right? That's where I'd much rather focus on more isolated work, simply trying to maintain my size while getting leaner and burning off all my kind of, surrounding body fat. But bulking up, so what if you get some lower back activation in a squat instead of just pure quads and a leg press? Frankly, I think for anybody in a main gaining, just regular lifting context or bulking, honestly bulking especially, to any argument that's anti-squat, intense quads in any capacity is typically a cope, I would say. I'm not saying all the time. Obviously, some guys do have something going on with their back or with their knees or with their hips. I'm not discrediting anybody like that, right? But it's like you're going to PE class and you want to get out of it, right? Guess what? You need a doctor's note, right? Because regular word of mouth, it's not always the most trustworthy, coming from the lifter who would be the type to say, "Oh man, I don't know if I'm feeling squats with you today, bro. I got that adductor thing. I got that hamstring thing. You remember it? Oh, dude, I would love to squat, bro, but I got this." Right? It's I guess that's one version of the leg day skipper, and then you have the more unapologetic character. See, screw legs. Right? They really play into the skipping legs joke. Ugh. I just got like a chill even when I said that. But either way, quads is the plan, and I don't think it should take too much longer than a solid hour from warming up set number 1 to set number fiend. Right? That shouldn't be too much longer than an hour, just because I think I'll do, I don't know, last leg day was like 9-ish sets, 8 real heavy pressing sets, and then 1 just burning leg extension set at the end. But when it comes to rest periods, quads actually does have a good argument. Take a minute, right? I'm going to take way more time between a set of leg press or squats than I would between sets of single arm preacher curls or one arm tricep extensions. You go into a lot of oxygen debt when you're using the biggest freaking muscle in your frame to failure. It takes a second to get that energy back. But either way, ideally, well, I guess not ideally, but I can predict that by the end of it, this 5XL Goodwill shirt will be completely freaking drenched. Don't hate on the 5X either. Frankly, this is something that I wish I would have played into a little bit more when I was younger. I'm talking, 160 pound range. I would always get oversized shirts just so I could like fill them out, right? I mean, once I got to the point where I was actually working out, I wanted like oversized stuff. I guess I didn't really expect to outgrow all of it, because frankly, I used to have some heat in my freaking shirt rotation, and I've kind of outgrown all of them. Like all of my cool high school shirts are done, and a good amount of my early-ish college shirts are. I mean, 2X just doesn't cut it anymore. And I guess you could, in a bulking context, you could call that suffering from success. What are you gonna do? Just gotta hand it off towards the next generation. I guess that's kind of cool if you got an older brother who's working out. He gives you his little freaking old Gold's Gym or Powerhouse shirt hand-me-downs. Yeah. Well, either way, no more chatting. Let's get quads started and begin this annihilation. I gotta build up my freaking back-loaded strength. 4 plates is not supposed to feel like 5, but that is A-O-freaking-K with me. Because frankly, 4 plates is not so close to, let's just say, limb eviscerating as like if I really pushed it. I don't know. I mean, I've done some sets of 6 plates in like a 25. I think that might have been overdoing it, regular just quad hypertrophy wise. But I'm not discouraged, right? I'm not looking at 4 plates on the Smith and thinking, fuck, I was doing 5 plates. What the hell's going on here, right? Because it feels heavy, right? Obviously, that's a pretty blatant statement. Nothing really fancy there. But it's the fact that it feels heavy, right? It doesn't matter if it was 2 plates. Well, if 2 plates felt like this, I'd be doing some reevaluating. But the fact that it's still as heavy as I can really feel comfortable going, then the actual number, whatever, right? That's where I think guys who are, really into tracking everything set-wise, weight-wise, week by week, I mean, of course you've got the right idea, progressive overload, but I feel as though you don't have to track it if you constantly push it, right? Like, let's say I come back next week for quads, 4 plates feels a little bit lighter. I do 4 and 25, do 5, do maybe 5 and a 25, going forward. And it's more so just putting myself in a position of that, like, red-lined intense set, where as long as you constantly do that, odds are you're going to get bigger and stronger, right? At least stronger, right? But usually they're pretty much correlated. You wouldn't need to give me a freaking stopwatch if every day, after I've had a proper warm-up and whatever, I ran, well, maybe not every day, as much as I could recover efficiently and do it again, I ran 100-meter sprints. I can almost guarantee, without timing anything, if I did that for like months on end, I'm going to be faster later, right? If every time I still give it as much as I can. So that's what I'm thinking here. So let's just load this thing up, get some music playing, and go nuts. So give me a second to get in the freaking zone here. Okay. One more at least. Yeah. One or two more. Okay. That's enough of that. Ooh. Oh my God. Holy shit. Decent start with the squats. Let's do some leg press now. Okay. Oh, okay. A few more just like that. Oh, holy shit. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. I think that's enough heavy pressing. Holy crap, those freaking squats hit. Yeah. I'll put this away tomorrow. I don't want to deal with this shit tonight. Oh, man. I have been spoiling myself by doing legs without any kind of squat variation. Dude, those three freaking hit me hard. And yeah, so half of the reason they were so hard wasn't even because my quads were like at their physical limit. It's just hard to hold that much weight up because I haven't. I mean, you've seen it. Damn near the last like half a year, I basically took squats off the menu to get my system more chill leg days while I was dieting down. So it's like I gotta readapt to putting that freaking weight on my back. And honestly, I was getting a little nervous because even with just 4 plates, the Smith bar was kind of wobbling. I think I might do barbell next time. What I really need to do, and if you know what it is I'm looking for, I'd love if you can link it. There are like J-hook attachments that basically, instead of resting the bar on a squat rack right, in front of the pegs, it's basically this setup that changes the load to like a little bit more narrow, right? Because now at my size and also just at my level of inflexibility, I mean, this is really a downside of starting to get muscle bound and how I really got to start stretching out a little bit more. It's freaking hard to get under a squat bar. Like reaching behind me like that with how full of carbs my freaking pecs and shoulders are, like they don't want to stretch that far when I'm fully bulked up. Like it took me a while to even get into the Smith before I started really warming up 1 plate, 2 plate, 3 plate, 4. Yeah. So, but what I was talking about was there's these like J hooks that basically just load the bar onto the rack closer, right? So instead of having to reach inside of those hooks, I can reach outside of them and have a much wider squat grip, which feels a lot more natural for me. That's one benefit of if your gym has a mono lift. Odds are it also adjusts in and out, which is pretty cool. Damn, you know what really sucks? There's an Anytime Fitness next to where I live, and they used to have a mono lift. Absolute badass piece of equipment. Name one time you've ever seen a monolift in an Anytime. It doesn't happen. That's not how they roll, right? But they're individually owned, so it's it's not like they have to go through corporate and say, hey, can I put a monolift in my gym? No, man, you can just do it if you own one, right? So these guys had one, and they ditched it for like that one squat machine where it's not a hack squat, because it pivots, but it's like you're squatting forward. It's got that big pad kind of at an angle, but it's not like a regular hack. It's like a rotating kind of thing. Absolute biggest downgrade equipment wise that I've seen for a pretty long time. Actually, yeah, it's almost as egregious as the old Miami Rec Center's gym. They had this badass old, like not old school, like just straight up old pec deck, metal handle, like there was no rubber, no nothing, just painted metal, and the thing was absolutely sick. And they replaced it with like a new Nautilus plastic looking whatever, not to say all the Nautilus pieces suck, like that's not what I'm saying, but this particular pec deck, I mean, it's just not awesome, right? It looks cool because it comes in a set with all the other pieces of equipment that match. Plus if you ever buy gym equipment, if you get it all from the same place, not only is it just more cost effective, but what are you supposed to do? Buy different pieces from other, it turns into a whole big thing, So that was kind of their motivation there. But to get rid of such an awesome ass piece of fucking equipment that has been used and could be put to more solid use for years to come, with just a scrappier new plasticky version with more, that's there needs to be an overlap to a higher degree of the gym equipment designers and legit meatheads. But those two don't normally go hand in hand. It's kind of a rare combination to get guys who seriously know what they're doing pumping out equipment. That's like 90% of the reason why I went and call the Arsenal stuff, because those guys are freaking sweet. We didn't think about it because like it was months in advance, because they're not they don't have inventory. It's like if you order shit, it's just like they gotta weld it all and put it all together. It's not like they're taking it from a warehouse. But so I don't remember how many months ago. It's coming up on like a year now. But we get to tour their facility. Yeah, we should have got some videos, made like a little vlog out of it. But so far, didn't really think about it. But all that's to say is, actually, shit, what am I even trying to say here? Equipment. Oh yeah. So if you know what I'm talking about, I would love to have it linked where I can, put it onto the squat rack and have it be loaded closer so I can have a real wide grip, not feel so tense. Because it's, I know it sounds silly, but like when I have to hold the bar that close together, it really does kind of feel like I'm smushing my torso, because I can only make myself so slender side to side, right? It's like, my lower, or I guess not my lower, but my upper arms, my triceps, they're just like running into my lats. Like they don't want to go like that, You know, so that's definitely another meatheadish kind of thing. But yeah, those 3 were good. And I would be lying to you if for the first set, it's kind of like jumping into a freezing cold pool. You know, you don't know how cold it really is. So you don't have any frame of reference to be afraid of it, right? But for that second set, the third one, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I was sitting on the bench in front of it thinking to myself, this is going to be a fun set. I'm going to have fun under this Smith machine right now. I'm going to have a whole lot of fun right now. You know, no, it was freaking hard, right? Frankly, yeah. I mean, I was really getting myself psyched up for it to the point where it's, I almost was going through the thought process of like, all right, like not waiting until I'm ready, because, if I'm waiting for myself to feel totally comfortable, then I'm just not even going to do the set, because it's uncomfortable. There's no getting around it. So it's kind of just me getting my music going, just, all right, come on, just hit it. Sort of, I was kind of thinking like, the sooner I do it, the sooner I'll be done with it, And that's the hard part of legs, quads especially. But that's also the cool part, because now I get to sit in the car and I'm like, all right, that was hard. I still did it. My legs are destroyed. Yippee-ki-yay, right? Happy me. I get to go home and freaking chill, So that's kind of the payment reward system from a heavy ass quad day, right? Now, today I can tell I might have been a little sub-prime, right, in terms of just overall kind of prep or whatever. I don't know why. I mean, I ate a ton of food. I'm not behind hydration-wise, but I don't know. I think more kind of like just my mental game wasn't totally on tonight. Like, I didn't just walk in, going nuts. But either way, still went after it, so that's good. But what was I about to say? Well, either way, good quad day. I was teetering on doing some leg extensions at the end, but I don't know if I really saw any benefit, And those three sets of Smith squats, those hit me a lot harder than I would have thought. So I was actually planning on doing like 4 sets of those leg presses, but by the time I finished that second one, it's like, the tank's already kind of empty overall quad fatigue wise. And that's that's something that I'm always kind of like teetering back and forth with in my mind. It's like, okay, did I really stop because I thought that was a good amount of work to be done, and now it's in my best interest to go home and relax and kind of recover and jumpstart the actual outside of the gym process? Or did I not do more sets of quads or like leg press or leg extensions because I was just lazy and I pussed out, right? I don't think that was the case, but it kind of teeters in my mind just a touch, because I want to make sure that I'm I'm always in the former situation. It's like, okay, I did it, that is all, right? Because it's not like I need a specific number. I think that's really good as a beginner, because you need to just stick to a regular routine, build lifting experience, get the gist, understand just what just what everything freaking feels like. But I think as time passes, you shouldn't be aiming for just a specific number of sets at like, a guesstimated level of intensity or effort and reps in reserve or whatever. I think it's in your best interest over time to approach the level. And I don't mean the level as though like, someone who just started, isn't on the level of somebody who's been lifting for a while. But I guess I just kind of mean like get to the point where you can reasonably accurately say like, okay, I've done 6 sets of dumbbell curls. I felt really strong, so I did some heavy weight. They're cooked. I'm pumped. I don't really feel like doing any more is going to give me any more, actual stimulation. I'm just going to be doing more work for no reason, right? And not even that, potentially doing more work to the point where you're kind of overexerting yourself on that specific workout, and then making yourself recover in a way that is not muscle gaining. That's just soreness inducing, right? Because soreness is not 100% indicator that you had a badass workout and you're going to start making gains. Frankly, my legs would be way more sore if somebody slapped me on a treadmill and made me really run for like 2 hours, at whatever pace I could handle. Probably pretty freaking slow, but either way, like that repetitive action for me, since I'm completely not used to it, that would destroy my legs. Like they would be sore, top to bottom, glutes, hams, quads, everything. But that doesn't mean that they're suddenly going to blow up, so that's kind of a disconnect of, end result versus the stimulus, because, anything can make you sore like that, right? So if soreness isn't the goal, then what is, right? And I think somewhere along the lines of I think sub 10, I think if you're doing good sets for a single muscle group, I don't really see any benefit of doing more than 10 sets in a lift. I can say that with reasonable certainty. I'm not going to say you're screwed. I used to do 25 sets for chest back when I started, 25 sets for back. Like I was totally doing fluff junk. But if you're really getting after it and freaking killing it, then I really think by the time you've done around that 8 or 9 or 7 or something along those lines, number of sets, and you've really been getting after it, you're probably around the point of peak pump, and assuming you really hit it hard, I think you've stimulated whatever muscle that is, and that's not an objective statement. That's from my experience and how I kind of approach training, and of course that's been working for me, so obviously I'm going to say that, right? But let's say somebody's been experimenting, like, dude, I'm trying 2 sets a week, one full body on Monday, full body on Thursday, 1 set of everything, that's it. Let's be real. Don't forget, 0 working out to even just doing those 2 crazy sets per week, that's a pretty damn big difference stimulation wise. So I think we sometimes we get confused with, okay, what I'm doing is the right way because it works for me, rather than thinking, okay, there's a lot of ways to do it because a lot of people do different things and it all seems to kind of work out. So that's where the idea of pinpointing specific, kind of working out styles and sets and volumes, it has a place, because of course we all want to approach a badass training style that works and gives us results. But you're looking for the fountain of youth, man, right? Lift, eat, sleep, repeat. There's a reason there's a million fucking shirts from every different brand of anything that has those 4 freaking points on it. It's because those are the big ones, right? If you got all that in order, you could be doing the silliest ass freaking workout, but as long as your effort and intensity was there, odds are you're going to be more freaking jacked than the hundreds of people that would post on your whatever showing how you work out, saying dude, you should not be doing that. Really? Kettlebell workouts? That's the least efficient thing in the world. Guys, and don't forget, if you're posting something and you're getting dogged on, don't sweat it. I do firmly believe 90% of the haters are, we get the gist. That's something that can go unspoken, right? That's for you to learn if you're going to go down the path of, posting all your shit. But either way, I'm going to go eat something, and I'm probably going to pass out soon. Crap, what the hell was I dreaming? I had the wildest, I've been having crazy ass freaking dreams. I had a really it's nuts. Because I'm watching JoJo again. Just finished part 3. I skipped to part 5. I've seen it all. I'm rewatching at this point, for the nth time. I don't even know. But sometimes I'll be sitting and I fall asleep while I'm watching it. And then the show seeps into my dreams. And I'm like, it's just kind of wild. If you've ever watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to go eat something, pass out, and then I will see you for chest tomorrow. Actually, chest or rest. We'll have to see. I'm going to decide that actually on the day, because I can't predict exactly how fatigued I'm going to be tomorrow, right? So if I think a rest day is necessary, that's what I'm going to do. But if my chest is unencumbered and I'm still feeling strong, the chest pump is in my future. Right, that's something I can't say for certain until I've gotten a good night's rest, woken up, and kind of see how I feel tomorrow. Right. So if you're ever going to bed and you're thinking, dude, I'm taking a rest day tomorrow, no matter what, maybe at least just wait till the next day. See how you feel. You know, don't just write it off because you had a good workout and you're kind of feeling tired. You're like, dude, how did I never want to hit legs again? Come on. You'll be a different man tomorrow. If only slightly. If only freaking slightly. So, I will see you tomorrow.